The Chargers, especially Justin Herbert, have revenge on their mind as they go to Jacksonville this week to face Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. What would the outcome be? Let's talk about keys to victory and what the Chargers will need to do to get a victory on Sunday. Let's get into it. Yes, sir. We are back in the building on this lovely Friday afternoon to bring you our game preview for the Chargers versus Jaguars game, 1:00 game on the East Coast. The Chargers go back to the faithful area where they unceremoniously lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs some many moons ago now, pre-Harbaugh, Staley era.
Different regime.
Yes, different regime altogether. Tom Telesco, all that stuff. But those thoughts still aren't far from Justin Herbert's mind. We saw him in the press conference earlier this week talking about how that game and the many games that he, felt like, he could have gotten a victory out of, it still sticks in his mind, still sticks in his cross. So he wants revenge, in my opinion. That's what I took from it. So I think he's going to be motivated for this game, and we're going to talk about exactly what it's going to take to get that victory in Week 11 to keep the momentum going in this 3-game win streak turning into 4. But as always, I got my guy, Young RG, with me here. The ceremonious, Chargers insider for the Lockdown Deep Sports Network and Electric Pod. Good brother, good sir. How you doing? How's everything flowing? Everything's good. Hopefully, we are riding high right now. Hopefully the high can continue. But let the people know how you doing out there.
Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. Obviously, 7-3 vibes are definitely high following the Chargers' probably most complete dominant victory of the season to date. Have it coming up against have a really good chance to, continue this streak, make it 4 in a row, against kind of floundering Jags team, kind of started off hot, has since then, certainly simmered down, especially on defense. We'll get right into it right before the bye week. And I'm excited.
Lovely. Okay. So we're going to talk about everything going down from latest news, injury report, and we'll get into what the keys to victory should be for the Chargers and what they need to get done in short order. I think we've been pretty spot on with our keys to victory so far. And then if they do, 50 to 60% of what we underscore, it typically has come out to be a victory. So hopefully we keep that streak going as well. But getting into the latest news, first and foremost, let's talk about Aranda Gaskin. He avoided major injury. He got scans, X-ray, MRIs. All the scans came back good. No damage to his knee. All he's dealing with a slight quad/knee bruise by banging knees in that game against the Steelers. So, definitely kudos to that, man. Definitely some great news for the Chargers fan base and the team as a whole. He is back at practice, so that is a good sign. So he's definitely avoided major injuries. And I was talking to AG about this earlier in the week about how knee injuries are so tricky because we saw Tucker Kraft bang knees and he tore his ACL. So I feared the worst, hoping for the best. And Rondé banged knees and he all came out with nothing but a bruise. So, thankfully for that, we keep our tight end one here. And I love what Jim Harbaugh said, how they asked him about Will Dissly and other tight ends in the room that hadn't really been seen. He said, Ronnie's tight end one. Anybody else, just keep doing what you're doing and just keep waiting, for your turn. If Ronnie needs to come out of the game for any facet, then you can be thrust into duty. But until then, the Rondé's the man. Yep. And it's so funny how the confidence changes quickly because he was a healthy scratch the first 2 games.
Yep.
The moment he gets on the field, he starts shining. So
absolutely. I mean, hey, you know what? In the NFL, talent. If you're talented and you're going to produce, you will find your way onto the field. It may take a little bit, it may take somebody getting hurt, but you will find your way onto the field. And once you start contributing on a consistent level, like Gadsden is, you force the coach's hand at that point. You can't, you force him to not take you out of the lineup because you're just producing so much. And yeah, like you mentioned, no major injury. He was a full practice today. So that's, a massive sign, first day of practice of the week, and he's already a full participant. That's, just great news right off the bat. We had already, kind of talked on last episode on the review of the Chargers Steelers game about how, we wouldn't mind him taking this week off. You have the bye week coming up, so, you get healthy. Get right before the Raiders game. But now, I mean, hey, if he's good to go, you don't tug my chin, don't pull my string. I would more than would love to have him out there on the field.
Oh, absolutely. Just another weapon for the Jaguars to have to worry about. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely, for sure. And definitely been that security blanket for Herbert, with his O-line being up and down and mostly down in pass pro. Yeah, definitely need that outlet, that hot route, that quick throw that you can get to in that big target for sure. So yeah, if he can be out there, and we do got a bye week coming up after this. So if he can survive this game, no setbacks, no problems. If he practicing full already, I like to believe that he wants to play. Young, invested, trying to make his mark and prove his worth. So if he can be out there and be a contributor, I'm all for it, as long as he can stay safe. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. But speaking about injuries in his entirety, we talk about the injury report, which is getting better. It's getting better and better, man. Some good news here. We talk about Ronnie Gaston being a full participant on a Wednesday practice. He started Wednesday as being a full participant. Of course, starting at the top, Mario Hampton is out of the walking boot, still on IR, but destined to return. We're looking at the earliest after the bye week, so that's good news. Hassan Hoskins is still on IR with a knee. He just went on IR, so we're probably looking at 3 more weeks for that.
Combining 2 names there, huh?
I know, right? That's crazy. Yeah, so Tahib still practiced on Wednesday in a limited role, so he's on the mend. I think he's ahead of schedule because I think it's 2 to 4 weeks with him, and he's been out 2 already. So he's on the mend. So I would argue, I wonder how they're going to play this. Give me your thoughts on it as well. Do you think they, kind of, want to throw him out there for the Jags, or kind of think they can kind of get away with not playing him this week and kind of save him for after the bye?
I think it really just depends on what the risk is for injury. I think if there's any risk at all, even if it's like very minimal, I think they hold him out. I think, the thing that is on his side, and I don't say this to mean like, oh, all the young guys, rush him back from injury, but like the younger players do kind of heal quicker. I mean, that's just human nature. I mean, the younger guys just recover from injury just a bit quicker than some of these, vets do. And so, like obviously Gadsden, rookie, Tarheeb still second-year player. These guys are young. These guys are healthy. If they follow this workout plan, this regiment to get back onto the field, a lot of people have talked ish as far on Ben Herbert, as far as, the amount of injuries we've had, on the team, but you can't fault him for, I don't want to say you can't fault him, but you have to give him credit for these guys coming back, ahead of schedule than what most of these timelines are. Like there is something to be said about that, and getting these guys, back. The bye week couldn't have come at a better time. With the amount of guys here, but again, a lot less, obviously none here of the did not practices besides the guys on IR. So that's just a massive sign as well. This game against the Jags is going to be huge for obviously coming out with a win, but just trying to come out as healthy as possible. We can come out of this game without any new injuries going into the bye week and just allow the guys that are already injured to get healthy. You have a nice matchup coming out of the bye against the Raiders at home. So like there's just this is a big game in more ways than one in terms of just winning it.
I like it. I definitely agree for sure. So we saw that. Tahib coming back. Bobby Hart practicing limited role starting on Wednesday.
Hallelujah.
What is with this? We were praising Trey Pipkins, Jamari Salyer, and Bobby Hart coming back off injury. That's just crazy, right? You'd have had that on my bingo card to start this season, that's for sure. But yes, Bobby Hart, for all his worth, he's starting to practice now, so he's on the mend. They listed Quentin Johnson-Ladd and Dayon as limited with shin and ankle issues, but I just think that's knickknacks and bangs from the game. I don't think it's nothing to be concerned about at all. There's no inclination from Harbaugh or anybody else that they were going to miss any time. So they're all on the field. This limited role. I think they're just trying to. I mean, we literally in week 11. We 11
technicality.
Games. Yeah.
You saw what happened to the Ravens, Yeah. we don't want to get any fines or anything like that.
I don't know. We want no kind of drama. We want no drama at all. No fines, no draft picks, no nothing.
Yep.
That's not us. That's the other Harbaugh. We put it on him. Put it on John. But yes, I think it's just at this point now, me playing football in the past, like halfway through the season, everybody's a little banged up. Just the nature of the beast. You're playing a high collision sport that is football. You're just going to have knickknacks and little bumps and bruises here and there, but nothing that's going to hinder you from playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I think that's all it really is. So the injury report is looking way better than it did a few weeks ago. That's for sure. So hopefully we keep it that way going forward. So yeah, that's definitely the good news there. So yeah, getting into the idea of what's going to happen with the Jaguars game, like I said, it's a 1:00 game, early East Coast game. Got to travel cross country to get to the Florida and play the Jaguars in their stadium. They are very, 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 very complex team. You're just not sure what you're going to get. Week to week, just have ugly, funny losses to the Texans and other teams. They, you think they were beat after coming off a high win against the Chiefs. It just hadn't panned out. I mean, only thing you can really hang your hat on is that Leon Cohen is true to form and having his run game look good with Ethan and Tootin. But outside of that, I don't know what to make of the team, honestly. And Trevor Lawrence hadn't popped to me. And what is he in year 5?
Yeah.
What are we, year 5 of him? So it's just weird in that sense. And I think that the saving grace for this game, potentially, going back to the playoff game when we had a different regime, the issues and the errors that we had in that game, losing that playoff game, is not existent this time.
No.
So that's
No,
the saving grace to begin with. That is a saving grace to begin with. But I do want to say that it's ebbs and flows in the NFL, and it's all we're all human. We're all can be emotional about things and have highs and lows. Coming off, our energy is better, so that you got to believe that the team's energy is better coming off that Steelers win. But the problem with that is that you have to refocus yourself and get back to work because the season isn't over. So the top, key to victory for me to start off the list is fight the complacency. You can't, play so, complete, I guess you can say, hard-nosed football on one weekend and then completely lay a dud the next. Because this gives me a vibe like they had against the Titans, where it's, you did get the win, but it was very, very competitive, and it should have been, that kind of thing. So I think that you have to fight the complacency first and foremost before you do anything. Like, you have to get that out your mind and understand that this team, treat them like they're a Super Bowl contender. Go in, play your game, do what you got to do, execute, handle business, and then just get off the field and get out of there with little to no injury. To your point earlier. So I think that's what you have to do first and foremost. To fight the complacency, don't ride the high of the Steelers win and then come in and lay a dud on Jacksonville on Sunday. I mean, because it is a different time zone for us. It's a 10:00 game for most people because California time. It's early game for them. You got to travel. You just got to get yourselves, in bed early, rest early, get up early, get going, and handle business early, and just get back on the plane and go back home. For me, for starters.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. I mean, like it's just going to be like you mentioned, they in past Chargers regimes, those teams were known to just play down to the level of the opponent.
Yes.
I think the Titans game is a little bit of an outlier. I think Herbert throwing that pick 6. I know Herbert's interceptions are a little bit high this year, but he's obviously throwing way more than he did last year. So those numbers are just going to correlate in that regard. He's obviously on pace to throw for way more touchdowns than he did last year. What did he throw? 23 last year or something like that?
It was his lowest of his career, ironically.
And he's already at 19, going into week 11. So again, he's those numbers, the interceptions are going to go up, but the touchdowns are going to go up. The attempts are going up. That's just how it works, So I'm not worried about Herbert turning into a turnover machine. Okay. He takes care of the ball. And, sometimes, hey, he's human. He makes a mistake. He doesn't see a guy. He misses a read. It happens. And it's just the matter of, can we combat that? Can we as a team come back from that? And I think that Titans game is actually a perfect example of being able to do that. And then on top of that, giving up a special teams touchdown. So it's like just things like that. I mean, again, that Titans game, past regimes, we lose that. If that's how we start that game, we 100% lose that game.
Right.
I mean, that's the Texans giving up 143 to Rex Burkhead that one year with Staley. That's what that game had written all over it. So I digress. I say that all to say Harbaugh has these guys playing serious. And I trust that they're not going to make these stupid, dumb mistakes that just snowball into an eventual collapse or into an eventual just massive floundering to a team you should be easily, I don't say easily winning, but a team you should beat.
Agreed. And I think this is going to be another testament to the coaching staff difference is that if they come in and they understand that they got complacent against the Titans and they don't want to let that happen or have history repeat itself in another game that they got to go and travel to win on an early, window, they come out and they start handling business to execute early and get the team motivated to play early, then yeah, that's a testament to the coaching staff that realize they can't let that keep happening, to this regime. So yeah, I definitely like that. But going forward, just getting back to basics. I mean, I think it's a very simple game plan here. It's nothing riveting about it. Get back to basics outside of the complacency aspect of it. Just and you get the internal run game going again. The Jaguars have some issues internally from their D line perspective. They got these edges with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen's Hines. Is that his name? Yeah, Josh Allen's Hines.
Yeah, Josh. I think is it Hines Allen?
It's Hines Allen, one of those. I
yeah.
know it was Josh Allen, but he kept getting confused with the quarterback, so he hyphenated his name. So that the edge rusher Josh Allen. So him. But yeah, I think they can be had from the internal run game. So I think they need to get back to basics and get that going with Kamani Vidal. And just win battles, win the battles, the turnover battle, the rushing battle, the penalties battle, and the time of possession battle. If you win, 50 to 75% of those battles, I think you should be in good shape. Because again, the Jaguars are a flawed team. To be honest, they are a flawed team, but you can't let that energy rub off on you and you play flawed as well. I think that is the most interesting part about winning those battles is that, because I think we've done a good job. We did a good job against Steelers and the other teams in the last 3 games of winning time of possession, out rushing. Last game we didn't have any turnovers. They did. Although we had more penalties, it wasn't punitive. So I like if we get those things done, in a basic, surface level. I like our chances as well. And going for that. And then focus on, limiting their run game because Leon Coleman, like I said in the top of the show, if they do one thing where they do run the ball efficiently. So focus on shutting down Etienne and Tootin and make Trevor Lawrence be the one that has to carry the team. Then I think I like our chances as well. And pressure him, get after him with Owe and Khalil and Tuli and those guys. Just get after Lawrence, rattle him, don't let him get comfortable. Make him highly uncomfortable throughout the game. I think that is a recipe to come out with a victory and the defense playing another stellar, have another stellar performance going into the bye week. So I think if we get all those things done, man, I think we're in pretty good shape, but we just got to handle business. I think that's the biggest thing that we have to focus on. Just handle business, and I think we come out with a victory. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like you mentioned, limiting the run has to be the number one priority here. I'm not even trying to say this to had bad jinx this game in any ways, but Trevor Lawrence truly just does not scare me. Like I've seen Trevor Lawrence throughout his career. I'm fairly confident I know what he is, and I just don't believe he is the type of quarterback that can lead his team, if things don't go well, if everything's not, good or perfect around him, to those hard-fought victories. I think their defense early on, like we mentioned, they were turnover kings the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. Their secondary, especially. I think they still lead the league in terms of interceptions. But again, that was just due to just really hot start to their defense in the last 4 to 5 weeks. They've only gotten 2 picks since then. So that secondary has really taken a step back. Obviously, the Travis Hunter injury is massive. He was their best wide receiver and their best corner. Brian Thomas Jr. was out last game as well against the Texans. He practiced today on a limited basis, so there's a potential he comes back. So it might be something that you have to game plan for, but in that sense, he might also be limited in that regard. So you're looking out for De'Ami Brown, their newly acquired receiver Jacoby Myers, who you saw already this season against the Raiders back in week 3. So I just think that if we force Trevor to beat us, with this secondary being the strength of the defense, and the pass rush is no slouch, but that just goes to show you the level of this secondary that it's playing up to. Mm-hmm. I think that just plays right into our hand. And I think Trevor, if you force him to throw, he's going to eventually give you chances at interceptions. And as long as you're capitalizing on those, like we did against the Steelers this past week, I think it should be a relatively similar game to Sunday night.
Yeah, RJ Mickens, you want to heat it? Why not have another one against Trevor Lawrence?
Hey, absolutely.
Why not? So yeah, and to your point, marrying up a good pass rush, and I think it came, twofold with getting Khalil back and getting Owe, in trade before the trade deadline. Marrying those two things up with the secondary we already had, with a good secondary mixed with a good pass rush, that makes for a dominant defense. So if they can keep that train rolling, I like our chances as well. Because like you said, rattle him and make him uncomfortable. He's definitely going to, make a mistake at some point. At least that's been his character. And I think the biggest thing and the most brightest thing is just don't give him any confidence as a team, because we gave the Titans a little bit of confidence. So they hung around a little bit as bad as they are.
Yeah.
So
You can't start in this game like you did
no,
against the Titans because
that's a no.
as not great as T-Law and this team are, they are not as bad as the Titans, and you might not be able to come back like you did against the Titans.
Agreed. So yeah, so there you have it, man. So that's our keys to victory. Like I said, if we get those things done in short order, I think we should be in good shape and come out with no injuries. Just a few nicks of knacks. I mean, it's a collision sport. So if you have a few bumps and bruises, but no broken bones, no ligament tears, no nothing like that, no eye gouges, nothing like that, I think we're good to go.
Jesus.
You're right. Hey man, I'm trying to protect all facets. Like we need our eyes, we need our limbs, we need our bones and our ligaments for sure. So we come out of this game, pretty fairly healthy and going to the bye week. I like how we're going to end up this in the back half of the season. So, but yeah, so we'll of course we'll break the game down once it's over. We'll get the post game video out next week once the games end, and we'll get that out to you. And check out the Electric Chuck Pod on any facet, each and every day. Monday through Friday we drop content. But real quick before we get out of here, after the bye week, how do you feel about these games coming up here as teams have shown their hand a little bit in the last couple of weeks? Because I know the Eagles and Chiefs game kind of scared us a little bit. It may not be so much now. And Dallas is a different game. They're different. They're a different team now too. So it's Houston. So, because when I looked at the schedule in the beginning, I said, damn, we gave it a really bad back half of the schedule, but it's not looking as just treacherous as it once did. So how do you feel about these next coming up games?
Yeah, I mean, looking at these next 5 here, obviously, I think 3-2 is the most ideal scenario coming out of these 3. Raiders has to be a must win. There's no way in hell you can drop that game. I know at the beginning of the season I said that we would probably split with everybody in the division, but just the way that the Raiders have gone and the state of that team right now, you need to come away with a win that week. And then the Eagles game, I'm a little bit more confident in that game than I was after seeing the Eagles on Monday night, and then also seeing our defense on Sunday night. So I think that game could also be another, 17-14, very, very low scoring, tight, game with the offenses kind of struggling. The Eagles offense has been, struggling as of late, especially their pass offense. So I think if you're able to neutralize Barkley, that game could definitely be had. Chiefs probably the most scary of the bunch here. This also has a lot to do with how these next 2 weeks go for them. They have a giant matchup this week against the Broncos. So if they lose this week against the Broncos, you fall to 5-5, and we're able to get a win. I don't want to say anything because it is the Chiefs, and I would not say anything until they're officially eliminated, but they would be in as big as a hole as they've ever been in the Mahomes era, and as big of danger as they've ever been in the Mahomes era to miss the playoffs for the first time. And then Dallas, Houston. Dallas is just probably going to be a shootout, and I think you just have to withstand. The O-line's going to have to withstand in that one. Houston, I'm not scared in the sense that we're going to get blown out, but I'm scared for Herbert's staying healthy.
That defense, man.
Yes, they are. Oh my God, they are. They are probably, as far as an entire defense is concerned, out of these next games, they are the most terrifying defense I'm not looking forward to, but looking at in these next games that we're going to play.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. I want to see one more game with the Eagles with that defense if they can't get right. But if they play on that trajectory like they played against the Packers, I like that game. And we can, like you said, we can get that game. I think that propels us into a really, really, really high power matchup against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I'm looking forward to that. I think we can get Dallas in Dallas. I like that. I like our chances there. But Houston's defense definitely worries me for sure. I'm with you there. But anything is possible. And that's 6, 7, 8 weeks down the line. So we'll see how things flow, but yeah, it's definitely a interesting schedule going forward. But that's why we got to take care of business this weekend and come off the bye with the Raiders, and then we can really hit the ground running and kind of push towards the playoffs. So we'll see how things roll, man. But I'm liking how we're trending. I'm liking how we're trending.
Yeah, I will like it a lot more with a win this week. Feel a
Amen.
lot more confident with a
Oh,
win this week.
absolutely, absolutely. And our energy be better on the pod once we
Oh yeah, big
yes.
time, big time.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Okay, so we're gonna get up out of here, man. But like I said, we'll be back with our normal shorts and our long form content this week. Hit the subscribe button on the channel as always. Let the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here. Electric Shock Pod on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Gmail, as well as the YouTube channel as well. So let everybody know we're doing big things out there, and we'll be back to review the Jazz game and get into that preview for the bye week, because it's gonna be interesting content to talk about during the bye week, so we can kind of talk about some things that are that we can look forward to and build on and going into the Raiders matchup. So we got 2 weeks of prep for that. So, but yeah, man. So any final words you got, RG, before we get up out of here?
Yeah, man, bullets up. Got to come away from this game with a dub. No excuses here. Must win. Definitely a must win for us here.
I agree. I agree. So hopefully we can get that done and stay healthy, and we'll be back to review that game and everything else charges. So in the meantime, between time, man, you got to do one thing and one thing well. You always got to remember to boat